Mic check 1 2 1 2. This is the Diary of a Madman podcast, where I just gonna speak into the void by myself, like a lunatic, like Bill Burr, or somebody cool like Howard Stern. Not that Bill Burr is not cool, but Howard Stern just brings that certain coolness. This is another segment I've been planning on making. I want to diversify my bonds, like Wu Tang says. I want to I want to have a space where I can talk about things that matter, things that people can listen to. I want to speak some of my opinions. I want to inform the listeners because the listeners of the Jagoff Hour, we do like to have fun. We do like to break balls. We do like to shoot the shit. We do enjoy fun banter, but we're also an informed crowd, an opinionated crowd, and an intelligent crowd as well. We like to stay in the loop. We will have We'll basically try to emulate the Bill Burr podcast. We love Bill Burr. Bill Burr is a great guy. I love his banters and I like his opinions, and I just envy his attitude, like not giving a fuck. Like, what kind of a psycho just talks into the void like that? That's very inspiring to me. That's a man that will go anywhere. That's a man that will go in the depths. That's Icarus, dude. He will fly to the sun, dude. He doesn't give a fuck. That's Bill. We need more Bills. Actually, I don't know if we need more Bills in the world, in society. I think we have enough. We just need a few good ones. We need the prophets. We need the prophets. We need the Moses who will lead the people to the promised land, to the land of milk and honey, through the desert that is the political climate that we're having right now. The world climate we have right now is the desert, and we're the Jews. And we're treading through this desert, and we're gonna come out on top. We're gonna make it to the promised land. We just need a few leaders. We need a Moses and an Aaron to lead the crew, lead the boys to safety. And we will learn from the Jews, and we will not wander for 40 years, but we will make it. We will make it on the righteous path. Mm. So, just a few things I want to speak about today. Oh, I had a few ideas bouncing around in my head. Mostly the China situation. I had the India Pakistan situation, but I'm not gonna dive right into those. Those are great topics, and we will revisit those later. But I want to start out with something. I want to start out with something palatable right now. We will talk about. We will talk about. It's still going to have some weight. It's still going to have some weight, but we're going to talk about not geopolitics. We're going to talk about personal relationships. We're going to talk about relationships and friends and periods of isolation and periods of abundance and why both are necessary. We're going to talk about the pace of life, how sometimes things happen in your life and it's all good. It's all for the best. It's all great stuff. You need all these things. You need problems to tackle, you need issues to solve, and you need the highs and the lows. That makes a balanced life. And speaking of lows, I want to speak about a recent falling out we had with my good friend Jenny. Good friend Jenny. Uh, just a little bit of a background with Jenny. We met on a forum. We kind of had a online kind of friendship. So I never actually met Jenny in real life, but I talked with her a lot, and she's the reason why I'm open to the idea of talking to strangers online. Like that's she kind of brought that on, so thank you for that. But recently had a falling out with Jenny, and it's a normal part of life. It's you have people come in for a season, people leave, and we've reached our peak. I guess we've reached our dead end, and we decided to go separate ways. But which brings me to a very important thing. Brings me to an important thing in friendships and in relationships. Sometimes you get those people in your life. You just get them for a season. They serve their purpose and they move on. And everybody serves a good purpose for the general good. Even the people who come in your life and they're the sweetest angels you ever met, and you get them for a season, or even the salty and vinegary people, they serve a very important purpose as well. They come into your life to either teach you something or reveal something to you about yourself. It's all part of the collective good. You need those people in your life, and I'm a man of faith. I don't believe we're just doing stuff just to do stuff. There's definitely a bigger picture going on. We're part of a bigger thing, and all of these things they come and they go, and it's all for the good. I am getting comfortable with this format, by the way. I will work on the dead air and I will work on the pacing of my diction or my speech. But yeah, it's a little bit. I can see like why a lot of people get freaked out by this because this is kind of a strange feeling just talking while no one's here. It's just me right now trying to string some sentences together. It's not as easy as it seems. So I thought it would be a lot smoother actually. This is a it is a little bit difficult to like imagine you're having a conversation but you're not. So you're speaking to nobody but yet you're speaking. It's a difficult way to talk. And I just noticed something about myself. It's hard to string your thoughts together when you got nobody to bounce conversations with. It's like playing tennis by yourself. It's really difficult. We're doing paddleboard. We're doing the paddleboard game like the ones that you see those kids in the 30s. They used to get those for Christmas. They got paddleboards and things like that. They didn't have Xboxes back then. They didn't have phones. they would get things like paddle boards, and they would get wooden horses and a wheel and a stick, and they would just go crazy. They would go crazy. They had tire swings and things like that. What a simple time it was. What a great time it was. What a great time it was to have imagination. I think we're losing a lot of that because we have such cool presents now. It's like, how can wooden toy horses and wheel and stick and a paddleboard compete with? How can they compete with Xbox, dude? They can't. How can they compete with a Nintendo? They can't. It's just a different time, I guess. But yeah, there's a trade-off. There's definitely a little bit of a loss in of a wonder. Definitely a little bit of a loss of a wonder and loss of innocence and imagination, which is a little bit of a trade-off that we're getting for this cool tech that we're getting. But yeah, going back to relationships and going back to people who come into your life. I've heard someone say something kind of profound that really resonated with me. Somebody once said, and I'm probably gonna screw this up, but like the gist of it is there's three kinds of people that enter your life. There's the person that is there to help you, there's a person there to challenge you, and forgetting the third, I'm blanking on the third, but basically the three people that show up in your life are all essential and all you need all of them to have a fulfilled life, to have a full life. You need adversaries, you need help, and you need reassurance. There's people who will test you, there's people who will come and really teach you some things. Um, for all the listeners out there who have faith in their life and their spiritual people, they know that when you're working on things like practicing mindfulness, or if you work on things like love, right? It's a skill. It's it's not just a feeling. It's definitely requires work. And people that show up in your life, you ask, I want more love in my life, or you ask, I want more patience in my life. What happens is a lot of times these people show up in your life, they're irritating people or some kind of damaged person or some kind of a broken person. They will show up in your life and give you the opportunity to practice those things, their virtues, like patience and love, which is ever enduring and long lasting and slow to anger. It's a good thing. There's also other people that come into your life just for a season, just like Jenny did. Jenny came in for a season and she's taught me a lot about introspection and things like that. I often compared her to John Coffey from the movie Green Mile. She's one of those people. She's it's hard to put into words, but if you haven't seen the movie, John Coffey basically takes people's, we called it like nectar or whatever. He has the nectar. He gives people like a release from whatever they're going through, and I won't give you any spoilers, but he's one of those outlier people. And before Jane, I don't think I've met anyone like that. Not that I was consciously aware of it, but I am now. I will definitely be on the lookout for the Jenny type, for the John Coffey type. She was an NFJ, if that's for all those people who are aware of MBTI. like the introverted people. She's very good at helping people who have some kind of trauma or something, but not the best for doing social things. Like she gets depleted is probably like the most accurate description of it. She gets depleted from social interactions. And for somebody like me who is kind of an extroverted person, there's a lot of there's a lot of conflict in that department. Like I always invite her hang out with online friends. This is the age we're living in, by the way. Like, how awesome is it that we can just go online and just talk to people? It's great. I used to think it was kind of sad, but like, it's not. It's really cool. Like, I've met so many cool people on Reddit, on Discord, on YouTube, on Twitch. So many cool people. A lot of NPCs, as they call them, but a lot of interesting folks too. But otherwise, I would not even make that connection with. It's We had Mark Zuckerberg on the Theo Vaughn podcast recently, and Theo. I didn't watch the whole thing because I just can't stand that guy. But not Theo, Mark. But Theo asked him, "Is social media like generally a good thing?" And I would have to agree that it is because it's just a tool. It's just a tool to connect us. And how it's used, that's up for debate. And if it is a generally good thing, that's also time will tell. But I think it is a good thing that it exists because it is a tool, after all. And I don't think one gets in the way of the other. Like, if anything, it enriches your life. It doesn't. You don't have to be antisocial, stuck on the doom scrolling thing. Like I'm very libertarian with that kind of thing. Like, everyone is responsible for their own, you know, for their own well-being. Like, if you're gonna go and start blaming McDonald's for making people fat, that's on them, dude. They chose to go and eat McDonald's. Or people who blame social media that um, there's loneliness going on. That's also on them. I say take responsibility for your own things, because I will say it is difficult for certain people. There's certain personalities that struggle finding contact, and that's finding connections out in the wild. But that's definitely a fixable problem. You can definitely find people. You're just not trying hard enough, and I'm not one to be a victim or blame certain things. I like to take responsibility for things like that, and more people should. More people should do that too. Just gotta let my cat out. Okay, here we go. What were we talking about? We were talking about relationships. We were talking about podcasts. We were talking about pets. So I have a pet. Her name is Cookie. She's a cat. She's very old, but she's still very playful and very young at heart. She's definitely like over 12 years old or something, which is pretty up there for an animal. But I heard cats live to like 20 or something like that. There's cats who live up to 20. So she could be in her midlife. She could be just in her stride. Definitely her second or third act right now, but some people hit their stride. And I think cats are no different. We got Text message from Luigi. Okay, we'll address that later. But yeah, I'm a cat person. I think I like cats more. I don't really have a preference. Like I do like the ability to just have a cat. It's a very low maintenance compared to something like a dog. I'm not one of those like either you're a cat or a dog person, but if I had to pick, like I pick cat because I am kind of a I don't like a lot of neediness. You know what I mean? Like dogs, I like dogs, but it is true. Dogs are a lot of work. They're basically like children. You need to feed them, bathe them, walk them, give them attention, play with them. Cats are very. You need to do those things with cats too, but a much lesser extent. They're very they can entertain themselves. I like that about cats. I like that about people as well. I like very independent kind of people. Um, I don't really. I don't like the enmeshment. Enmeshment. There's a there's a school of thought in psychology called enmeshment, and I don't know too much about it. I don't know too much about family dynamics and friend dynamics. I mostly focus on personality type stuff with Jenny. She kind of introduced a lot of these kind of concepts to me, but I have dabbled in exploring some family dynamics and relationship dynamics pertaining to these kind of things like enmeshment and individuality. So enmeshment basically just means it's a group mentality. So a lot of people when they grow up, they fall into one of I think there's like four categories. Uh, the way that their family is structured. So a lot of people, especially immigrants, they kind of stick together. They're kind of enmeshed, meaning they're a unit. They're a family unit. They're kind of they kind of lack individuality. They kind of like a group mentality. There's strength to that for sure. Dude, family unit is pretty sick. It's pretty good. But at a certain point, it can also be it could really be a hindrance to your development. So if you're trying to venture out and you want to do something that's kind of against the wishes of your family unit, like a lot of people that get stuck in careers and they get stuck in relationships and things like that they're not really thriving in because usually in an enmeshed family there's a head of the family who kind of dictates like the direction they want people to go, so like they can't explore careers that they would otherwise want to. They would kind of just try to appease the family unit, and it can be limiting, but thankfully in America we have a little bit more freedom with that than other cultures. We There's also ups and downs to being too individualistic, being too independent. You nurture yourself so much, you don't really have anybody because you can't do everything yourself. You need help in this world, guys. You need help. It's good to be individual. It's good to be independent, but it's also good to have a good camp. You have to have a good crew because they will keep you grounded. They will keep you in check. Uh, I'm one of those people who believes you can't do everything yourself. You need people in your life. So I'm somewhere in between. I like a little bit of individuation, individuality, if that's even a word, individuation. Probably some like Carl Jung term. I like somewhere in between. Uh, but yeah, definitely don't want to have a family unit in every aspect of your life. That's at least to suffocation. And you need those individuals. You need those free thinkers to really keep you in check because you don't want to be like a North Korea, like closed off from the world. You don't want to be like a cult almost. That's that can lead to stagnant waters, and you definitely want rivers. You want the running waters. Uh, well, yeah, relationships, enmeshment, and versus individuality. You definitely need room for your roots to grow, and it's a good thing. You don't want to be attached at the hip with people like some people. They're built for that. I've seen those power couples. I've seen brothers that just love each other so much that they do everything together. They're just yeah. I've seen mama's boys, and yes, some people it works out. They wouldn't have it any other way, but I think they are limiting themselves from true heights that they could really reach in a very well balanced kind of life. And yeah, I like a social group of people. I like to bounce ideas off because I'm not always right. I make a lot of mistakes. I'm wrong a lot of things. Now, it really helps if people point those things out to me. So the most I've ever learned was from adversaries, which brings me to my next topic, which is the second kind of person that comes into your life. Usually an adversary or some kind of a vinegary person is what I said. I said some kind of a vinegary person means they got some venom inside that they really point out to you. Others would also call that an enemy. You need the enemies in your life because they will point out your weaknesses to you. Nobody points out your weaknesses to you as good as an enemy does. Your friends, they will lie to you because they care about you. They'll give you half truths. They give you the sugar coated version. But not enemies. Enemies will tell you how it is. And not all enemies are bad. You definitely can coexist with enemies. And in some ways, enemies make you better. Ooh, you need to have somebody to really brawl with, really spar with. Enemies are rivals are a good thing. Opposition is a good thing. The cornerstone of capitalism, you need competition. Some people call them enemies, some people call them the ops. Some people call them Bloods and some people call them Crips. Some people call them whatever other gangs. They call them MS-13, they call them that. But yeah, it's the enemy's a very vital person in your life that a vital person in your life that reveals your weaknesses to you, and once you know your weakness you can work on it. That's the beauty of learning about yourself is you can learn and you can fix things or you can improve things. And nobody will get you there faster than an enemy would. And then you have, with the help of your friends and with the help of your support, your brothers, your friends. I will have to go back and look up what the third type is because I'm blanking right now. I actually was not planning on talking about this. This was just off the cuff. Off the cuff, talking into the void. I haven't even checked the sound, honestly. I don't know how. I don't know if I'm even going to post this, but it is this is a good half-boiled thought. I have a lot of those. You will get to know me. You will get to know that a lot of half-boiled thoughts here. Uh, I think I'm one of those people who says, at least halfway there. you know, it's kind of a loser mentality because, perfection is a good thing, but striving for perfection is good. But I say, try and fail is better than not trying at all. So I'm gonna die on that hill. I'm gonna defend my half-boiled thoughts. And for those of you who said you should have prepared for this, I'll say there are tons of other podcasts you can listen to who have a very tailored and very beautiful podcast with notes and things like that. But this one doesn't. This one is going to be a lot of unprepared. There's a certain aspect I like about that uncertainty. I like that uh, improvisation. I like that. I like to improvise. There's a certain atmosphere it creates. There's certain things you venture out on in the moment that you can never plan. And this is just me, doubling down and defending my half-boiled thoughts. But I feel like my kind of people don't get enough representation. There's a lot of negative connotation about us pertaining to winging it. Winging it is, yeah, like no good war general would tell you to go wing it at a war, or no good successful organization in sports would say winging it is good. I'm one of those people who says there are advantages to winging it, and certain there are certain benefits to it. But I will agree that you shouldn't wing everything in life. You should wing certain things, but don't feel like you gotta plan everything, because that's another thing. Like I was actually planning to make this podcast for years, and I just got so many different other projects going on that I just never really thought to just wing it and just go for it. But here we are. We're winging it, and I'm talking into the void, and I'm glad I'm doing this. I wish I've done this earlier. Wish I've done this sooner. And that brings us to the third kind of person, and I will try to actually look it up on the spot right now, because I feel like this is a very useful thing to know. And a lot of you probably know, because the average Jagoff Hour listener is a very informed, very intelligent person, and I'm not just pandering to you guys. I actually believe that. Okay. There's a lot of schools of thought on this, and there's not just these three types of people. This is just a generalization, but I think it's like here, for example, this person said basically the same thing. He said, there are three types of people in your life: the leaves, the branches, and the roots. The leaves are the people who come into your life just as easily as they go, right? Same kind of concept. Branches, they're stronger than leaves, but you can't put all your weight on them, right? So you got your those kinds of people. And then you got the roots, the people in your life who don't do things to be seen but are simply there for you no matter what. That's mothers come to mind when I'm thinking about roots. It's just those mothers that love no matter what, even if they have deadbeat kids and they have tough kids, but they love them no matter what. Like nothing like mother's love is probably one of the strongest forces on this planet. But I took it a little bit of a different approach. What I was talking about was more of a Socrates, more of a Sun Tzu kind of approach, which is very comparable to what this person said. I do like the leaves, branches, and roots analogy, but the Sun Tzu one was enemies, friends, and I guess brothers, man. Because yeah, you got your brothers, you got your friends, then you got your enemies. Those are your three, pretty much. I will have to circle back on the Sun Tzu, but what you should get out of that is enemies are not always a bad thing. Like a lot of people say, you know, I hear this a lot. They just like, I don't want. Why does God allow all these bad things to happen? Is why does adversity, like they're just so afraid of adversity, and it's not a bad thing. Adversity is a good thing for your overall, for your being. It's a very necessary thing. If you don't have adversity in your life, you won't change, you won't be better, you won't adapt. Like you can ask anybody. You can look at the most wise people, the most battle hardened people, the most successful people are people who have overcame something, and that those are life lessons in there. Those are people who practiced things like patience. They practiced those virtues. They've practiced love. They practiced gratitude. I guess they're humble. It's those people who don't have any adversity. Those are the ones who are just toxic. Your trust fund kids. Just proud and pompous. They got nothing really going on for them. They got no gems in there. At the risk of sounding cheesy, I will bring up another interesting one. Oh man, I don't remember where I saw this. I saw this probably like on Instagram or something, or it's one of those inspirational posts. It's so tacky, but it's oh man, cliche stuff. But someone said diamonds are formed under pressure, right? So it's like it's a clump of coal, right? But because of the pressure, like this beautiful diamond happens. But that's because of it's been buried, buried deep underground and formed under like volcanic activity. So there's a lot of process going on there, and a beautiful diamond comes out. Or somebody said, this is an old, I think it's one of the saints said this. He said people are blocks of marble, right? And your enemies are your sculptors. So the enemies, they take this block of marble, which is you, and then they sculpt something like Michelangelo or something like Michelangelo's David. Michelangelo's David didn't just happen by accident. It was a block of marble, and it took a long time to sculpt that. And which brings me to my next segment. Michelangelo's David's dong. That's the first thing everyone starts thinking. Like whenever you bring up Renaissance is like they were just really very liberal with their genitalia. Like they got the titties out and they got the dongs out, and it's all good. You They don't censor those things, but it is interesting that the peak male physique, which is what a lot of people compare David to, the peak of male specimen, the chiseled look or whatever. He's just got a little dong. It's interesting. Like the big dong came much later. Um, but yeah, if I really think about it, a little dong is probably better. Like you don't want like a micro dong, but you definitely don't want a big dong because big dong problems, little dong problem. You definitely want to be in the middle. You want the Goldilocks. You want to be not too hot, not too cold. You want to be not too big, not too small. You want to be somewhere in the golden mean. You want to be in that. Most people will probably add like a couple inches to their cocks, but I don't think a lot of people really want like a horse dick. Like a lot of people say they would, but like if you think about it, it's very inconvenient. It's a very vulnerable part of your body. Like you would get just destroyed in a fight. Like if someone just grabs on your dong, it's over, dude. If you're fighting, someone just goes for the dong. They're a dirty fighter, a street fighter. If you're out in the streets of Philadelphia or something like that. Shout out to Philadelphia. Shout out to a new guy, Troy, that I just met online. He said he's a Philly guy. I have never been, but I've heard a few things about Philly and the East Coast. They're very aggressive people there. Philly fans. They fight. They will go for the dong. That's not. It's not above them. They're not above that, I guess. The same. They will go for the dong. They'll go for the kill, dude. Oh man. So yeah, medium dongs. Um, yeah, for all those listeners out there, just be proud of your hog, no matter what kind of hog you have. Even if you have a microbird, that's fine. There's a there's a lady out there for you too. Um, but yeah, Michelangelo, titties. Yeah, titties. Titties have been having a little bit of a decline. Actually, it's all about ass now. Like anywhere you ask, it's like Sir Mix-a-Lot. He brought that ass, which is really good because ass used to be. We used to have a lot of. We used to have a lot of shame about ass, like a big ass, a big rump. A lot of people were ashamed about the rumps, but I'm kind of glad it came around, and we love the big booties. We love our black ladies. We love our thick ladies, our Latinas, voluptuous, curvy, beautiful ladies. We love the shapes, and the titties did take a little bit of a backseat on this, which is fine. Which is that's what happens. Like when you're bringing the underdog out, you're bringing it to the forefront. You will have to dethrone, whoever was on top, right? So titties got dethroned, right? In the '90s, they got dethroned. In the 2000s, titties took silver on that decade. They took silver, which is still good. Maybe some people would even say bronze because a lot of guys don't care about titties at all. A lot of guys just all about the ass right now and all about face and eyes and things like that. But I have a little bit of insight um, into the titties. I come from Europe. I'm Ukrainian, and titties are still very well. When I was there and I was a kid, I was a little boy growing up in the '90s. Titties was all the rage. Everyone loved the titties. Everybody, I feel like I got a little bit of the '80s still in Ukraine because they are collectively about a decade behind in old trends. I feel like countries like France and Italy and the United States and the Great Britain, like the big powerhouse countries, they kind of set the tone in like all the fashion trends and things like that. And then it doesn't really spread until, yeah, there's a little bit of a buffer there. So I'm sure there's countries right now where titties are still number one. And I would like, if for all those international listeners right now, I would like your input on this. We would like, and I'm sorry I'm singling out the ladies. We'll include some male physiques. We did talk about dongs. I want to hear more about dongs as well. But more importantly, I want to talk about titties versus ass and how international people view it. If ass is made it over there yet, or if titties is still supreme. I want to know about all those things. I know Brazil. I know they've always loved the ass in Brazil, but I want to know about other parts of the world as well. I want to know what kind of ladies are you guys into. We're blessed here in America. We have a great variety of ladies here. We love all the kinds of ladies, and we have a lot of men too. We have very great selection here, very good diversity here, and very blessed on that part. Uh, which brings me to, let's see how much time we have. We're still doing Diary of a Madman. 46 minutes in. I like to run about an hour. I think an hour is a pretty good amount of time to get all your thoughts out. But it's a little bit long for some people, but that seems to be the trend with podcasts these days. It's very a long form platform, you know. Some people argued that, the elections were very influenced by the podcast. This was the podcast election that happened. And I don't want to get too political right now because we're talking about titties and relationships, but, and ass, but a lot of people said that podcasts, Donald Trump, well, we refer to him as Donnie because he's a little, he's a, he's a menace, so we're going to call him Donnie. I feel like it's a little bit more fitting because he acts very juvenile. So we're gonna have a juvenile nickname for him. We're gonna call him Donnie. And for those of you who already know, that's how I refer to Donald. And but here I'm getting sidetracked here. But the reason a lot of people say Donnie got the young vote is because he was on all the podcasts, and it's true. I saw him on the Theo Vaughn podcast. I saw him on the Joe Rogan podcast. I saw him on a lot of podcasts, and he was not afraid to come out and speak. And that's one of his strengths. Even say what you will about the guy, but he will say things. He's not afraid. Maybe he says too much, but that's the thing that I think really did Kamala in. She refused. She's heavily. I think she was on one podcast. I'm not really sure which one. This is a big podcast. It's very popular with the ladies. The name is slipping my mind right now. Her something her. But yeah, Kamala was on there. I didn't watch the thing, but I saw little clips of it, and she basically wanted to mm, very heavily edit it, and she kind of said like, "You can't ask me this, you can't ask me that, you can only ask me this." She was very closed off, so I think like that's the thing. Like people like those long form podcasts because you can't can't really hide your true self if you go long enough. You know, if you go long enough, you go an hour, you go 2 hours, 3 hours, your true colors really start to shine. You don't can't really two face your way through a 3 hour podcast. You will have some things come out about you. And that's what people like. They like, they like the authenticity and the openness. And I feel like Kamala could have done a lot better if she was open to that. She could have definitely scored a lot higher with the young kids, which was a surprise. A lot of people were surprised. A lot of people were surprised that some old white guy got the popular vote, and or I guess he got the young vote. It was very interesting. And don't want to get too much into politics. This is there's a time and place for that, but this was more of an observation about podcasts and being genuine and open and things like that. It's another thing to tie everything together. What I was talking about earlier, to tie everything together. Dead air, dead air, dead air. I had something profound to say. I just can't. I'm just. Oh man, I'm just so stuck on the Donnie mannerisms right now. I'm just fighting the urge to start just going full Donnie right now. I have a pretty decent impression of Donnie, but time and place. No, I had something really profound lined up about this, and man, I wish I wrote it down and I stopped to say it like right when it came, but I wanted to finish this school of thought before I started this other one. Uh, we were talking about the three different types of people. We were talking about enmeshment. We were talking about, uh, man, it'll come to me. Just give me a sec. I will probably cut this part out, but I do have something to really tie everything together, and it was it in my mind. It sounded profound. It's really hard to really kind of think about it right now because I have so much other topics I want to visit, but we're running out of time, and I do need to tie everything together with a little bow. And wow, it's just slipping my mind right now. This is not a good look, but it's okay. We will tie everything together. We'll talk. We'll. I hope you walk away from this with at least something. You should definitely pick something up from everything you do, right? Including, your brain rot activities, including podcasts, including conversations and relationships, and should definitely walk away with something. I'm going to give you something for your time. If you made it all the way to this 53-minute mark, there's some gems in there for you, right? And embrace adversity is one, right? You know, adversity is not all bad. Number two, what we talked about, embrace your dog size. Like whatever you have, it's part of what makes you. So just love yourself and how you are. Everyone wants things. Don't compare yourself. Just embrace what you have. This is a very embrace yourself kind of embrace the situation. It's a very kind of a Zen podcast. It's a yeah, just roll with the punches, man. It's all good. Like just be kind of a glass half full kind of person, and learn from your mistakes, right? So Learn from other people's mistakes if you can. I know it's not everything you can, but have fun, have a good time, Try new things. And again, shout out to Troy from Philly. He really, really inspired me to keep going with this podcast thing. And because I see he's doing it, he made a post on Reddit about something about podcasts, and we got to talking. And I like his outlook. He's also an ENTP, MBTI, Myers Briggs. I don't know. Some people don't buy that shit. It's kind of pseudosciencey. There's a few things that are consistent with it, but don't buy too much into it. But you can find some good people on those forums, on Reddit. And I became one of those Reddit people. I used to be ashamed of those people. I was like, what? Why are you online? Why are you on Facebook or MySpace or whatever? Just go have friends in real life, dude. Why are you, talking to strangers online? So fucking, stop being a loser. Go get some real friends. But that's kind of a limiting kind of way to really think about stuff. This isn't getting in the way. That's another thing we talked about. It's like social media and technology and those things. They accept responsibility, right? It's like it's not getting in the way. Get the abundance mentality. You can still have your good friends outside of online. You can have your good life, right? But it's like don't shit on it. Like me, don't be a hater. Don't be a hater like I was. I was there. I was out there bitter and vinegary. I let the vinegar out on all the Reddit nerds and all the Reddit people. But there's a lot of cool, interesting people like movers and shakers and titans of industry. Reddit has millions of people on there, so of course, there's gonna be nerds on there. There's some closeted nerds. There's some a lot of people there, very successful, high achievers as well. So don't limit yourself. You know, you gotta sift through the dicks to find some good people in life. Which reminds me of a South Park episode, and Cartman said he was helping Kyle find some friends, and they were doing this chat roulette thing. They were looking for friends, and they had to wade through a lot of dongs to finally find some good friends. And it is possible. I've met some good folks on here, and otherwise I would not have met them because just geographically, just impossible. I'm in Seattle. I'm in the Seattle area, and yeah, I've met people from California, from India, from Minnesota, from Philly, from whatever. It's a very good thing. It's a very powerful tool. Um, these people can call in, people can connect and listen and comment and say things, and we can listen to people like Bill Burr and Howard Stern, and we can emulate them, and we can make the discount version of that. And shout out to Matt and Shane Secret Podcast. We love Matt and Shane. He's another inspiration of mine. What a great guy he is. What a great guy. The fucking big kahuna, man. And the shaman. Shout out to Tommy Pope and Chris O'Connor. Those are part of his crew, the Joe Rogan guys. All of them. Ari Shafir, all those guys. We love the podcasts. We love the comedy. Some people will go as far and say that comedians are the modern day philosophers, but we're not gonna go as far as say that. We will say comedians and podcasters. They're just a bunch of dorks who just like to talk, and their main job is to entertain, right? But some people can find value in the things they say because that's the thing about comedy is you can't filter it. If you filter comedy, it no longer is. It becomes. It's no longer funny. And on that note, on that thought, we will end this podcast. This is Diary of a Madman, kind of like the song from Ozzy Osbourne. We love Ozzy Osbourne. We love how unhinged he is and how insane he is. And there's definitely some merit and there's definitely some value to just let it out, you know? Just let all your half boiled thoughts out, let your mad thoughts out. Because amongst all that, there are a few gems in there. And for those of you who have the ears to hear and the eyes to see, you will definitely find some value in this. And I'm signing out now. This has been fun. My name is DJ Easy Dick. My name is Alex. I'm still working on my handle, but this has been fun. I've enjoyed myself, and I hope you enjoyed listening. And if you made all the way to this hour mark, then I applaud you and thank you for listening. And peace and pussy grease. All right, signing out.